What's up, everyone? It's your boy Mastermind here for All Cannabis Live. Happy Friday. What y'all medicating on today? Welcome back to another one of our weekly streams. If you're new to my content, please do me a favor and go hit the like, subscribe button right now. It's just right below the video. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates. So again, I'd like to know what everybody's medicating on today. Thank you, Mike, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate you here. And, today, it's a little gloomy. I'm going to go ahead and put up my ticker here. And I do have the forecast for the next 3 days in Ohio in the news ticker and some of our latest headlines. But as the headline says, we're in a goofy situation. What is he? Goofy, like goofy situation. I just thought that was really, really funny. So, right now, as things stand, not a lot's changed since the last time I streamed. Still legal to consume and grow cannabis up to 6 plants, 12 plants per household. There still is no legal avenue to purchase cannabis in Ohio. So you can't go to a dispensary unless you have a medical marijuana card. And there's still this gray area where people don't know what's legal and what's not. So there's a lot of confusion about what you can and cannot do. So a lot of people are just kind of winging it. What I would recommend that you do is you check out my website, OhioCannabisLive.com. I have posted a fact sheet there. Just go to the top of the page and look for rec info, and that'll provide you with some facts about what's currently going on in our program so that you're not confused about what is actually legal. The governor call for action. As I mentioned this in previous podcasts or streams, whatever you want to call this show at this point, the governor wants sales to happen right away, even if we're not quite yet ready. When I say that, the Department of Commerce, under the Issue 2 rules, has 9 months to create the legislation and the process and the licensing format and framework for recreational sales. Right now, as it stands, all our dispensaries are only licensed to sell medical cannabis. Once they create the framework for them to be able to sell recreational cannabis, then they will need to obtain a new license for recreational cannabis sales. All dispensaries that open and operate in the state of Ohio and probably everywhere in the country all have to have a DA license to operate. A lot of people don't realize that, but all dispensaries have to have a DA license and a DA representative assigned to their dispensary for compliance purposes. The governor, he supports, restrictions about public consumption. He's worried about the children and the gummy bears. Again, in his words, a goofy situation. I think the gummy bear thing is a little bit played out. It's a little bit goofy, as he would like to say. Got your 12 plants going. Okay, wonderful. I'm glad to see that. I'm trying to get mine started, man. I'm getting my tent today. Shout out to my sponsors, HLG. I'm going to be providing some more information about my sponsors in upcoming videos, and you'll be seeing some of the stuff we got going on here. I was hoping to have it all set up today, but it's been a busy day, and I haven't had a chance to set up. But I will post some little clips, so make sure you look for my shorts, because I got some videos to show you. And make sure you go check out my other channel, Ohio Cannabis Growers, which will be growing sooner than you think. All you got to do is search Ohio Cannabis Growers. You can also follow us on Reddit. We have our own community of growers that we're building here. We're almost 1,200 strong there on Reddit. And we also have a group on Facebook, Ohio Cannabis Growers. If you can't find it, then ask me to send you an invite link and I'll get you in the group. It's for us to learn and come together and for us to grow Ohio. Let's do this. So, again, my concern still remains that they will wait to the very last minute when we all get relaxed and try to change the law. We really can't allow that to happen. We have to stay vigilant by continuing to remind everybody that everything isn't settled yet. There could be any changes at any time. And that's important for us to remember. As I had said before, we can play a part in the rulemaking process, but we have to do it the right way. And that's by following whatever procedures are required for us to be able to have public comment and any new changes that they decide to implement in the program. A lot of confusion is, did they take away anything? At this moment, nothing has changed. The program is still the same, and we haven't had any changes. some of the things I'm gonna go over from last week in case you missed it. It's just that they want to raise the taxes. They want to focus law enforcement, jails. They do want to do a public smoking ban. They want to restrict advertising, which has already been a problem for people to figure out whether or not these places even exist. It's been quite challenging. So that's another thing that we're dealing with here, and I think it's important to really, really understand where we are with this thing. Again, the governor, his involvement, he supports including medical dispensaries selling recreational marijuana. As I said earlier, he wants to do it right away. He even said, "Hey, let's get rec sales going right now." He wants to maintain home cultivation limits, baby, but not really. He'll go with whatever the flow is. Uh, Emphasis on voters' wishes for people. They're worried about people smelling weed smoke. Guess what? Before issue 2, people were still smelling weed smoke. So that trying to make it a public ban, it changes absolutely nothing. It really doesn't. I mean, people are still going to continue to do whatever they do and however they've been doing it. And no one's ever said anything. So the fact that they wanted to put new restrictions in about public consumption that weren't an issue before, it just seems like they're still trying to make everybody stay locked up in their house and afraid to come out and have a good time. We're going to change that because in April there's going to be a block party in Cincinnati, the 420 block party. We had one last year and the year before that. So make sure you pay attention because we'll be talking about that later on. I'm working on my events as well. So I'll be hosting some events to hopefully help get some more people enrolled into the medical cannabis program. So I'm currently working on that right now. Stone Age Pizza is Ohio. Stone Age Pizza in Alliance, Ohio is hip to issue 2. Okay. Stone Age Pizza. All right. Yeah, just like alcohol. Well, we certainly don't want it to be just like alcohol, even though that's what it said. Cannabis isn't alcohol, is it? We could drink it, we can drink it, but we would all prefer to smoke it. So, that's a big thing right now. Some people are saying that, patients or medical patients can't smoke. I'm not sure. I think that there's a gray area there. I think that if you told a medical cannabis patient that they couldn't smoke, they would leave the program. So if they want to make that a rule or a thing, I think that will be bad. I think that people will be absolutely floored, especially the 100,000 or less patients we've got left. We would lose those instantly. So hopefully the legislator does watch the weekly stream and realizes that taking away the smoking part would cause irreparable harm to the medical cannabis program. It would be the end of the medical cannabis program at that point. So I hope that they understand that, and that, at the end of the day, I don't really think it's a goofy situation as much as they want it to be a goofy situation. I think for us, it's actually the best possible situation because really, honestly, the future is now. This is opportunity for people who have been homing in their cannabis skills all this time, waiting for them to be able to tell people about their company. We have all these indoor garden companies that we want to meet up with. We have lighting companies. We have dirt companies. We have companies that are selling seeds. All these companies, glass blowers, glass shops, head shops, smoke shops, CBD shops, all these shops can now come out and be a lot more open about what they're doing and what they got than they were before. I would love to see all the different companies that haven't been able to reach out to do anything to reach out to me at info@ohiocannabislive.com. And I'd be happy to see how you could be a part of the cannabis community, how we could integrate you in with everybody else and, help break the stigma that, businesses that don't have the word cannabis in there aren't, they don't belong. They do. I mean, it all ties together, whether we're talking about a big business or a small business. So I'm looking to work with any business that's interested in getting into the cannabis space. And if you need help with that, again, the email's right here. And if you have questions and you want to ask me some questions, maybe I didn't cover something in my stream, again, my email's right here. And over here, we're live. Hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. Bing. I'm trying to line it up right there. All right, so press that button. 25 viewers and 9 likes. Everybody's not pressing the button. Press that like button right now because we're trying to break the record, the algorithm. The more people watch the stream, the bigger it will be, the more people will get the information, and the easier it will be for us to organize events. The easier it will be for us to coordinate as one unit. Right now, we have a lot of division in our program, a lot of division in our state. A lot of people want to do things one way, a lot of people want to do things the other way. We need to figure out what exactly is the Ohio way. Because at the end of the day, I'm about winning. Aren't you about winning? I don't like losing. And I've said this before. We can't keep losing to Michigan. We got to stop now. We got to start winning. And how do we do that? That's educating everybody, hosting events to provide information, helping people who are in the industry understand the part of the cannabis culture that they are missing. A lot of times events are held and they're not even really targeting users. They're targeting industry folks. And if every event is only about industry folks, what's for the users? Users meaning me and you, people who use cannabis. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but we are consumers or users. Consumers, users, same thing. And so there has to be events that make sense to us, that are fun, entertaining, but also informative and peaceful and educational. We need to bring all those things together and bring all these different groups, agencies, whoever, together. Because if we don't do that, we'll continue to have this fractured relationship with the retail part of cannabis, where some people want to support retail and other people don't want to support retail. Well, I feel like if you knew how the cannabis that you were buying was produced, you would have a lot more confidence in purchasing it. When you buy cannabis from other sources, you have no idea how it's produced. You have no idea what kind of dirt, water, or anything, unless you got it from the grower themselves, which you could have, might have, but the average person, they're just buying whatever they can get their hands on that they can afford. Even if it's from the dispensary, even if it's from somewhere up north, your chances of you knowing the grower, to be able to see their grow, to be able to see what they did, to see how it came to what you got in your hand, we're missing that part. And that's why a lot of people say, I'm not buying no medical marijuana. I can grow better weed at home. And maybe you can. And I ain't knocking you for that. But I think that if you had an opportunity to tour a medical marijuana facility, which will eventually be also a recreational facility too, you have an idea of what you're investing your money in. Who are you investing your money in? When I go to buy something at a restaurant, I know a lot about that restaurant. I know what kind of mannerisms the restaurant has. I know what kind of food they serve. I know what kind of prices there are. More importantly, in a lot of these places, I can see in the kitchen to see what they are cooking. In most places, I can see what's going on behind the scenes. And that tells me whether I want to eat at that restaurant or not. If I go in a restaurant and I see people preparing food without gloves, I'm out of there. I don't do that. That's nasty. When you go in a restaurant and they're not wearing gloves for your food, leave. Don't buy that shit. Take my advice on that. Unless you want to get E. coli, which I had. So you don't want that, okay? So it's important for us to understand that the medicine that we buy at the dispensary is safe and clean. And also, we need to be able to test whatever we grow. If I grow something here, I want to know what it tests at. I want to be able to brag and be like, man, I'm hitting them 20s. I'm hitting them 30s. I want to be able to tell people I got mine tested. I know it's safe. I know it's clean. So I'm advocating for us to have access to public testing labs because I think that's important. They have it in Michigan. We need to have it here because I'm not driving all the way to Michigan to get my herb tested. And I shouldn't have to spend a bunch of money on Amazon or the internet somewhere trying to find some contraption to test it. I should just be able to take it to the lab, pay a very small fee, and be able to find out, did I clear all my pesticides? Do I have any microbials? What's my moisture content? What's my terpene profile? What's my THC percentages? Did I get any Delta 8 in there? I'm curious to know. We never could find out none of this stuff before because these things didn't exist. We grew it, we smoked it, and it was good. But now we can analyze it. And by analyzing it, we can improve it. We can craft it. Not just go by what my friend said, but I can scientifically say, hey, this weed needs more work. I need to dial this in. I need to dial that in. So testing and home grow is important. And we should have access to it. I'd love to know what you think about that in the comments. I know there's a lot of feelings about home grow. But at the end of the day, we never had such technology available to us 10, 15, 20 years ago. I know when I started growing before, I didn't have access to none of these things. I was growing it with a light bulb and a lug with some holes in it. It's a definition of weed MacGyver. Did anybody already use that? Weed MacGyver. No, you cannot use weed MacGyver. I'm writing that down right now. Weed MacGyver. Coming soon. Maybe some of y'all don't know who MacGyver is. I might be out of context here. But anyway, I used to watch MacGyver a long time ago, and I love rigging things up, contraptions and concoctions. And that's what MacGyver did. He was a fixer. He rigged up stuff. And so that's why I said that. I'm just looking at y'all's comments. Ohio keep reverting Republican. Yeah, we do. And that's not necessarily we're not gonna make them evil. We're just gonna say, look, we need to educate Republicans. Some of them have woken up. It's not all Republicans are bad. Not all Democrats are bad, but some of them are. Just say it. So bad on both sides in some cases. So that said, we need to continue to be contacting local leaders. Don't just worry about the big guy in the state house or the big girl in the state house. Talk to your mayor. Talk to your local leaders, your community leaders. Because they need to have a conversation too, because their lives are about to change in a dramatic way. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that eventually Ohio's going to be getting a lot of money off of this weed. A lot of money, okay? There will be lots of money to be had. So we need to be on our P's and Q's so that we can be right there for that. So that we can continue to grow and learn. Because how do we stay ahead of all the other states? Well, we got to see what they're doing and then use it and implement what we can from Illinois, from Michigan, and whatnot. And speaking of that, before I go today, and while you're telling me what you're having for dinner, I do want to tell you that I did go successfully pick up my uncle from Missouri. And during the trip, I was able to experience the Illinois recreational market and the Missouri recreational market. And I'm going to make a long story short. We are complaining about things that they would kill for them to be able to do in Illinois and Missouri, okay? Even though they have pre-rolls, for example, pre-rolls are overpriced. Their weed is old. They're still selling pre-rolls from April of 2023. April. Their weed is old. Old. I'm talking like 9 months old. Like, we're used to fresh herb in Ohio. Their prices, the taxes are insane. They're just crazy high. And then we thought our names were bad. No. Some of their names and some of their companies are worse. What dispensaries did I go to while I was there? I went to Rise. You've heard of them, some of you. I went to Ascend. Some of you heard of them. And then I went to one called, and I kept this so I could show y'all. Green Light. So I went to one called Green Light. And when we very first started our program, y'all remember these old smell-proof bags? We used to get these from the dispensary all the time. They just totally ditched this shit. We don't get no big old zippy baggie anymore. Like, and just so y'all know, there's nothing in here. This is just an empty bag. Okay. So, I know a lot of you want to know what I thought like about their herb. Like, you want me to go into depth, and maybe I'll do that on a different stream when I have a little bit more time. I can show you some of the strains I tried. But realistically, we just had to keep pushing for improvements to our program and realize that even though it's not the greatest, we still have a lot of stuff going on here that they don't even have in other rec states. I thought I was like, I can't believe this. I was like, wow, you guys don't have this, you don't have that. It just blew my mind. But, there are two recreational states right next to each other. If we can somehow get Indiana on board, let's think you could go from Ohio to Indiana to Illinois to Missouri, and it would be rec all the way through. Not that I'm talking about cross state line, but I'm just saying you could experience multiple Midwest states together. If we can get Indiana legal, if you're watching from Indiana, I ain't forgot about you. But we need you to come on board, Indiana, so we can start this trifecta. We'll get Kentucky. We're going to get Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Illinois. We the Midwest. The Midwest. We going to get them together. We're close. We're close. Hey, Little Mac. How you doing, Little Mac 86? Good to see you here. You got some great deals from Michigan. I know. Yeah, well, no, I'm not going to say that Michigan is the best state for weed. That is absolutely not true. Sorry, I disagree 100,000%. That weed in Michigan is old and dry. And if you don't want to look at the dates on there and you don't care about old dry weed, then that weed's old. Now, if you get it from somebody that's growing it fresh, different story. But the dispensary weed there, it's old. Always. It's always on sale because they can't get nobody to buy it because it's so old. It's the same thing in Illinois. It's the same thing in Missouri. Like, it's because they're not listening to the market. They're just putting stuff out there and hoping it sticks. And it don't. The excitement is over. How many different runts can you make? How many different gelatos can you have? How many different cakes can you make before everybody gets bored? I'm like, man, oh, not another cake, another GMO. I mean, how many GMOs do they got? So I think that's the issue with the market as a whole, is that they're not getting our attention enough. I mean, yeah, you can get cheap weed in Michigan because Michigan has been doing this for longer than most all the other states that just went rec. And there's a lot of growers there, a lot of good growers there. And if you're blessed to know one of those growers, then yeah, man, you're getting great stuff. You're probably getting a great deal. But if you're just going and buying that commercial MSO weed, that shit's old. Let's just stop playing. You know it, and I know it. I have been there before it changed over. In 2019, I studied it heavily. Okay? So I know what I'm talking about. And I know that the weed up there is old. Okay? It might be great. Some old weed's good too. The longer to cure it, the better, right? But if it gets too old, you're smoking CBN and Delta 8 at that point. And that's still okay. I mean, especially if you want to go to sleep. Old weed to put you right to sleep. That's what it did for me. CBN is good for sleep. So this is cool, But at the end of the day, we have to do better to connect people with the growers we got in Ohio, because we have some great growers here. And not all of them work at the cultivation site. Some of them just grow great weed right at their house. And so we need to bring out those craft growers and have some stuff for them and get some of those growers into the recreational market. So if you are watching this and you're sitting at home thinking, I want to become a master grower at a facility, I want to, get myself into the cannabis space some kind of way. And I don't know where to begin or where to start. I'm going to say it again. Email me at info@ohiocannabislive.com because I do have answers for you and I will be happy to help you. We do offer consulting services at a reasonable cost. And, if you have income challenges, we're happy to help you best way we can, work with you. But just know that you have options. If you're still trying to get your card and the price you're finding is too high, email me at info@ohiocannabislive.com and I'll try to find you a better deal. If I can get you a better deal, I'd like to get you a better deal. If you feel like you're still overpaying for the stuff you're buying at the dispensary, I can help you with that. I have lots of data on lots of strains in this program. You can go to my website to ohiocannabislive.com/reviews and leave your own review about whatever product you want, or look at what other people have said. And by the way, this never come to people's mind. We got a place on there where we're tracking seeds. So we got a list of strains in the program that have been known to have seeds. ohiocannabislive.com/seed report. You can go in there and see the report and find out which strains in our program have been yielding beans. And who never know, you might get one. You might catch one. You never know. And I think I wanted to show it to you, but I don't have my phone here. I did pop a layer cake seed. I don't know if it's gonna make it or not, but we're hopeful. I popped some other seeds too, so we're hoping that those will grow. And I'd love to know what you're doing in your cannabis growing journey, and we'll be sharing that stuff on Ohio Cannabis Growers, and I'll be sharing my cannabis growing journey with you. Like I said, I'll be providing more content and context on that as we get it going. I'm working on that today so I can't wait to get my tent set up. So again, I didn't catch it. What'd you have for dinner? I see that we still only got 18 likes, but there's 32 people watching. So please do me a big favor, hit the like button, share this video with friends and family who may not know about the channel, and share it on your social media. Don't be afraid. Nobody's going to get you. It's legal now, so you don't have to hide anymore. Share it. Share that you watch Ohio Cannabis Live every Friday. Be proud of it. Let everybody know that they're missing out on the show and they're missing this information. So before I go, I'm just going to recap a few things with you so that you understand. The law has not changed. No improvements have been made to issue 2, and nothing has been taken away. They still plan to change the law. They mainly want to increase taxes and reduce home grow counts as far as we can grow. They also want to give money to prisons and cops. Hey, thanks, Jimmy, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. And they also would like to ban gifting cannabis to one another. So that means that the whole sense of what makes cannabis community, they want to take that away by saying that we can't give away cannabis to others. Now, this is not law and this has not happened. So as of right now, gift on, share with your friends and your brothers and sisters, your clones or whatever you got, share it. As far as selling things, there's a gray area. It's very unclear what will be permitted and what will be not permitted, what type of requirement or license that you may need. For example, if you want to become a small craft grower, or you want to become a small craft edible maker. I know there are a lot of people who love making homemade edibles and would like to take it to the next level. And I would like to see you be able to do that. If you're living in a rural area where you have little to no dispensaries, just know that more dispensaries are coming. Some of these other ones that are open do have drive-throughs. You might take a little drive, but Michigan don't have drive-throughs. So that is one thing. And I think that, the last thing I want to talk about, I didn't really go into this because it really doesn't mean anything right now, is this descheduling of cannabis thing that you've heard about. I haven't really reported on it simply because right now they're just talking. Nothing's done. They're acting like they're going to lower it to a level 3 drug. That would not help us. That would actually make things worse because then you'd have to have the pharmacy involved and the pharmaceuticals be involved. So to me, unless they take it off completely, which would then be better, descheduling to a level 3 would be a bad thing, because then they would have to battle whether or not to step on the state's existing legislation for medical cannabis, or make it some weird pharmaceutical. Now I have to go to CVS to get my stuff. I can't go to the dispensary no more. I have to go to CVS. Georgia's having a similar issue, because they want to be able to. They're trying to disperse cannabis product from their pharmacies. So they're already trying something like that in Georgia, and it ain't going so well. Okay, so no, we don't want government to just make it worse. We want them to just eliminate it altogether, take it off the list of scheduled drugs completely, and then we don't have to worry about it at all. That will be the optimal solution for us. So when you hear all this talk about descheduling cannabis and what it's going to mean, it's going to help companies on their taxes. That's all that translates to. And it's going to be a door maybe for the pharmaceutical companies to now be able to legally sell us weed. That's what they're talking about. It's not nothing to help us out. It doesn't affect the current law in Ohio or anything like that. It could, but realistically, it won't, because they're just talking about it. Unless they actually take some type of action through Congress, it's still not going to be federally legal nationwide anyway. So we have to keep praying that, the Congress is going to put these legislation pieces to the floor for a vote. More importantly, the MORE Act, which would basically legalize cannabis nationwide for selling, growing, possessing, the whole shebang. And it would also tell them they need to start using the word marijuana and start using the word cannabis. It also would help clear people's records as well. So that would be great. The other act that they put together, it's just, it ain't that great. So I can't even tell you the name of it, but it's on my website. And, you can read up on it there if you would like to learn more about it. And I encourage you to. But right now, we just got to focus in on making sure that issue 2 remains pretty much intact the way it is, and that we continue to inform and educate people about what's going on in our cannabis space here, whether it's new companies in the mix, new changes to the medical program, other things that we think are important to our program. But it's certainly not a goofy situation. It's actually a great situation, because we can actually do stuff now that we couldn't do before. So goofy? No, I don't think so. I'm going to cross that out, goofy, to it's a great situation. So with that said, in the comments, tell me what's for dinner in case I missed it. And I've heard about renting equipment. That'll be another thing that we need to talk about, is what are the rules about renting rosin presses, bud trimming machines, all kinds of other equipment that normally would be used in maybe a more industrial sense or a more commercial sense, but also could be used for residential or home grow. And how do we bridge the gap with those things? So that's something else that we need to figure out relatively quickly. So again, I thank all of you for being here. Do me a favor, smash that like, subscribe button, hit the notification bell, be updated on the next stream or the next video I put out. I do want you to know, starting hopefully next week, we'll start doing product of the week. What product of the week will be is where I will tell you a product that I come across in our market that I think made a difference to me, that caught my attention. It could be an edible, it could be flour, it could be a tincture, it could be a disposable vape. You never know what it could be. I thought I'd have something for you this week, but I don't. But I will next week. Ran out of days. You know how that goes. It resets tomorrow, so I'll be fine. And that's something I'm going to do. And then also we're going to have a Ohio Cannabis Grower Spotlight. What that will be is where you actually get to see either my grow or your grow. You want to send in pictures of your grow? You want to come on here and talk about your grow? And we'll feature your grow. Now, what I ask is people to be respectful to other people. Don't be nasty. If somebody's grow looks like crap, don't be rude. Don't be a hater. Just provide feedback. Tell them how they can make it better. Hey, you can do this and do that. Because sometimes we're showing you because we don't know, or we want to know more, or we want input so that we can make it better. Sometimes just searching the internet for answers isn't enough. Sometimes you need to just show people, hey, this is what I got going on here. This is my numbers. What do y'all think? And so that's something we're going to try to do here. Now, other people, they're advanced growers. They know what they're doing. They consider themselves master growers. That's fine. We'll happily have you here as well. But just keep in mind that we want people on here too that are learning, because this is also a learning and channel as well as information. So with that said, I'm gonna wrap today's show saying stay medicated, my friends, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate all the time and support you've all put in the channel. We've come a long way from 2019, a long way, and it's not over yet. So y'all keep sharing the video. Let's break a record. Last video we did not hit the 1,000 views. I want 1,000. I want 2,000 views. Crack the algorithm. Let's go. I'm looking for the stop button.